Join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. First item on our agenda is approval of the minutes from our April 17th meeting. Have any concerns there?
I did not. I reviewed them. I don't have any concerns.
I don't either. I'll make a motion that we approve the April 17th minutes.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 2 is the Employee of the Month, Kellie Payne.
Good afternoon, commissioners. Okay, so our department of the month has been on the list for a minute. So Seth, do you want to come up or do you want to stand there or sit there? Seth actually nominated his office for just doing such a great job, and he'll explain why. But Seth also does a great job, so we want him to receive a plaque as well and just say thank you. So his office has Lori Perez. She's been here since 2013. Soleil Mello has been here since 2017. Jonna started in 2022, Jonna Marshall, and Seth was put in 2018. And then we have a new hire down in the office that just recently started. So their office is awesome, and I will let Seth say why he nominated them.
I prepared a big speech, but Soleil asked to give a speech of her own instead. You don't want? Okay. No, we have a terrific office and a terrific staff. We really do. The only two here tonight are Soleil and Lori, which they're like Swiss Army knives. I mean, they do everything, and they do it very well. We kind of had a hectic year last year with our Board of Equalization, and they both did terrific. We also had Melina Clark in the office at that time, and she really did a great job too. She's since left, she had a second baby and is taking care of her little ones, which is great. We have a new hire, Melissa Parker, and she's fantastic as well. But just wanted to really recognize, especially these two that are here, as well as Jonna Marshall, who's not here. They take a lot of beating, and they do. I can't explain in words how phenomenal they do, and just really appreciate them. So I don't know. Sorry. Anyways, just a small way to say thank you for all they do. So.
We have Lori and Soleil.
Nobody can say anything because Lori stepped away from.
Lori. Okay. And then Tracy's actually gonna take a picture of you guys. No. And then here's one for Jonna as well, if you want to stick that on her desk. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Well deserved. Your office just runs seamlessly, and you're so pleasant to deal with, particularly for the public who come in. You're always just real overly kind to them. Thank you.
And I was just going to say too, all the challenges, all the questions, all the different things that come to that office, you guys just handle it professionally. Every time we come in there and ask things, you guys give us silly looks, but you take care of it. So thank you for that, and appreciate Seth too. Seth, you're a great leader. Appreciate what you're doing with that office.
Couldn't agree more with everything that's been said. There's times of the year where they're just hopping in that office, especially election years. So, and they do a phenomenal job. So thank you.
Next item is our Super Service Award. Tina.
Awesome speech, Seth. See, now I'm not the only one. Awesome. But I just want to say, before I do this really quick, the clerk's office is so amazing. Like, I don't think there's anything that they can't do. Answer all the questions. Visitors stop there. Like, where's your visitor center? And Lori's handing them pamphlets and she's telling them about, like, they're just amazing. So I echo that too. Good job on that. And Seth is a good leader. Okay, so our Super Service Award this month is going to Amanda Pies with Marketing Elevated. And I'll read her nomination. Amanda goes above and beyond for everyone. She's always giving back to the community and always the first person there to help anyone in need. She's always helping businesses come up with fundraising events and donating to others. I met Amanda, I was trying to think of that today. I can't think of the year, but I worked at the hotel industry before I came to work for Carbon County Tourism. And Amanda worked for the radio station. I was one of her clients, and she always took such great care of our accounts. She always made me feel like I was like her only customer. My favorite was always at Christmas time when she brought the Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory tray of goodies, and then I got to pick all the white chocolate dipped Oreos out of that for myself, but then would share the rest with everyone. But Amanda's helped us even in my current position. We have hired her to do one-on-one 2-hour sessions with our stakeholders who sign up. So she's helped restaurants and hotels inventory their social media. She's helped them be better at marketing their business through social media and helped them create things through Canva that they could use. And so she's just such an awesome resource. And we appreciate her so much too. So I'm really excited to give this award over to Amanda Pies, our May Super Service Award winner. There's that. Thank you so much. And she is, and you guys know because I went to the Eastern Leadership Academy and did this. So she is one of our #1 ambassadors for tourism. She promotes our brand. And she's even given and shared ideas with me in educating the public on tourism, and she's just been wonderful. So I'm also going to give her this Proud to be a Carbon Corridor Ambassador sticker. Thank you so much. You're supposed to stand up here with me, right? No? Okay.
Okay. Yeah, thank you guys very, very much. I feel like I have been given a wonderful opportunity to work with many different avenues in our community. Over the last 20 years, being involved in media, working with our small businesses, I basically only see the good. So anybody that has anything negative to say about our area or the corridor, we don't see eye to eye, because I truly have only seen the very best of the best in our community, and I continue to do so every day. So it makes it very easy for me to help spread the word about the corridor and all we have to offer here and keep working with our businesses. So I appreciate the opportunity. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, good job, Bob.
Yeah, I know last week Amanda was giving all of her secrets away to all the business owners at the chamber meeting.
We need to, keep secrets and business. I just hand it all to everybody to do themselves.
Yep, she was helping them understand how they could do it themselves and not have to hire her to do it.
I'm not a smart business owner.
Thank you.
Okay.
Item 4 is open sealed bids for a 3/4 ton truck for emergency management. Did we get any?
Yeah, we've got 7 bids. I'll probably just hand these over to Justin. This first one's from Salt Lake Valley. Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Does that mean I talk?
Salt Lake Valley Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram for a Dodge 2500. And you just want the price? $71,933. 2024. This is also from Salt Lake Valley Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram for a 2024 2500 Dodge. This one is 72,685. This is for a 2020, oh, sorry. Price Auto Farm. For a 2020 Ford F-250 Ford. For 78,975. This is also from Price Auto Farm for 2024 F-250. 79,475 on that one. This is from Price Ford, or Price Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram for a 2024 Dodge Ram 2500, 78,954. This is from Price Auto Farm Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram for a 2024 2500 Ram for 77,554. This is Young Automotive Group for a 2024 Ram 3500 for 76,870.
I think that was it. Thanks, Justin.
Thank you. This is the first time since COVID that we've had good representation on bids for vehicles. Maybe there's a few around now, finally. Any questions on those?
I have no questions. Maybe he's thinking,
There was a question.
no.
Oh, you had asked that all the vehicles must be serviceable after warranty period by dealerships in Carbon County. During and after warranty. So is that included in these bids?
Yeah, so
I
just wanted to make sure that I didn't have to go over the mountain when they needed service in the future to get worked on when something goes wrong. So either a Chevy, a Dodge, or a Ford is basically what that's for.
Perfect. Okay.
Any recommendations on a way to move forward?
Go ahead.
It's, you're right.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
I'll go ahead and make a motion unless you're going to.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we acknowledge the 7 bids. We turn these over to Justin and Commissioner Hopes for review and to award the best value.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item 5 is consideration and possible approval of the Rural Competitive Grant application for Carbon County Ambulance Department. Justin.
Yeah, so for this grant, I don't have it all put together yet. It's due May 31st. I'm waiting on a quote. We had an ambulance that was, for this grant specifically, we had an ambulance that was wrecked and we got some money back from the insurance. So my plan to apply for this grant was, depending on how much money that rebuild's gonna cost, what wasn't made up insurance was to ask for the rest of it on the grant so we can be made whole for the rest of that ambulance. I'm assuming it's going to be somewhere between $50,000 and $70,000 that we're going to have to make up on that ambulance, was going to be my plan for that once I get the quote back.
That's pretty good on a $250,000 vehicle.
I'm fingers are crossed.
Good way to try to, so you're putting your box off of this ambulance onto a new chassis.
Yeah, so the ambulance that was wrecked was pretty new, and so the box on it was in really good shape, and there was no damage to it in the accident. They came out and said, yeah, it's square, it looks good, it can be put on another chassis. So we just need to pay for a new chassis for that to go on, the shipping of both trucks to the location where they're going to do that, and then the actual mounting of the box and getting everything ready. So my hope is to cover the rest of those costs for that process.
Any questions for Justin?
Yeah, I just, Commissioner Jensen had mentioned too, with COVID, it was kind of delayed, and getting the ambulances during that time was delayed as well. Fitting this retrofit, if you will, into their schedule, that we're going to have to wait a year, or did they give you any kind of timing on it?
No, they said they thought they could get, once we have a chassis and the box to them, that it wasn't nearly as long of a process as the whole build. So they said once they got it, it'd take 6 to 8 weeks to redo it. And so we're hoping that it's a much quicker process than the order an ambulance in 2.5 years that it takes to get one right now.
Okay. I'll make a motion that we approve the rural competitive grant for the application for the ambulance for the ambulance department.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 6, consideration and possible approval to apply for the following grants: Hazardous Materials Emergency Preparedness Grant, the Emergency Management Preparedness Grant, and the Homeland Security Program grant.
Yeah, so first one is the HMEP, or Hazardous Materials Emergency Preparedness Grant. We apply for this every year, so it's an 80-20 grant. Total cost that we can get, or total money we can get, is $3,200. And so that is $2,560 of grant dollars matched with $640 of our dollars. We use this money to send our hazardous materials team to the Public Safety Summit that's being held in St. George this year. And it helps cover those travel costs.
Any questions on that one? Okay, next one.
The next one is the EMPG grant. So it's the Emergency Management Preparedness Grant. It is a 50-50 grant. We don't have the official dollars yet. They said it's probably going to go down a little bit from what we got last year. Last year we got $34,700. And then we matched that with $34,700. That is there to help cover the cost of my wage. And so we make that up in my wage. So that is your match.
Okay.
And then the last one is the State Homeland Security Grant. It is 100% grant. This goes to sustain our hazmat team. It helps to build different capacities. We've used it for cybersecurity, community preparedness, election security, combating domestic violent extremism. This helps go to the maintenance of the command posts. And this year, the funding also went down a little bit from the federal government. We plan on applying for $122,174.84 would be Carbon County's portion.
Any discussion or questions?
I think they're all good grants.
Yeah, I agree, and I appreciate you going after these grants. We might have to give you a new middle name or something. If there's no more conversation, I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve Justin to apply for the following grants: the Hazardous Material Emergency Preparedness Grant, the Emergency Management Preparedness Grant, and the State Homeland Security Program grant.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Justin. Item 7 is consideration and possible approval of the Carbon County Republican Party Central Committee's recommendation to appoint Tara Madsen as the interim Carbon County Treasurer. Kay Clausimo is retiring as of May 1st, or 4th now, 3rd. So her term would end at the end of this year. And so in her putting forward her resignation from that treasurer's office, it's by statute, the Republican Party met as a central committee and brought forward a name for us as a commission to consider appointing someone to fill Kay's position. And currently Tara is the chief deputy in that office, and she has filed to run for this elected position. So she's on the ballot currently to fill that position. So it's the recommendation of the Central Committee that we appoint Tara Madsen to fill this vacancy. Any questions or discussion?
I think it only makes sense since she's the only candidate on the ballot for any party that's running for that office. So there's no questions or?
No, I have no questions, but I will like, I know Kay is not here, but I would like to just acknowledge her 34 years of being a treasurer, being here. Lori, we talked earlier about the clerk's office putting information together for us with these crazy requests. And Lori put together a list of all the commissioners from basically when the county started till now. And I look back and Kay has served or worked with 14 different commissioners. And that accounts for the ones that were here for 20 and 24 years. So she's seen a lot of different things, and just wish her well, and hopefully she enjoys her retirement. But yeah, I have no problem with Tara. She does a great job.
Perfect. I'll make a motion to approve the Carbon County Republican Party Central Committee's recommendation to appoint Tara Madsen as the interim Carbon County Treasurer.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 8 is consideration and possible approval of county fire warden agreement between the Utah Division of Forestry, Fire, and State Lands in Carbon County. Justin, you're the professional here.
I've been up at this lectern too much today. So yeah, I looked through the agreement, as you guys asked. It is currently the one that Casey sent me is the same agreement we've done every year. You know, I did talk to Rudy about the updates. Do you want me to talk about those?
Yes, please.
So in talking with Rudy, they're looking at two things. One, they would like to make the assistant fire warden full-time. Gives Jeremy some more options through the winter months, and when it comes to training and projects, running chainsaws kind of keeps him busier in those winter months. So I could see the value of that. They're asking for, I think, $36,000 something to cover those costs. Right now we pay into, they call it the Wildland Suppression Fund, and they give us kind of a budget that we have to spend in fuels reduction and bolstering the equipment in Carbon County and those type of things. That money would come out of that, and I think it's a good use of the money. That would leave $58,000 for us to spend in fuels mitigation and bolstering the equipment through the county. I think there's more discussion on that. The other thing that they're asking for is the state's taking the truck away from Jeremy for the winter months, and they're asking us to supply a 4-wheel drive vehicle for the winter months and to use on fires as needed. I think there's some things that probably should still be worked out on that. Whether we can just give them an old truck, we probably have one that we could let them use. In those discussions with Rudy, he said that they would like the county to split those costs. So we would take care of insurance on that vehicle and maintenance on that vehicle. The state would also insure it, so it'd be kind of double covered if something happened to it. And then at the end of the year, they would compile all the fuel costs. The state would cover 50%, we would cover 30%, and then the Emery County would cover 20%. Well, I think that's a good idea. If we are splitting that with Emery County and we're paying for the vehicle and maintenance and insurance for that, and Emery County's only paying for 20% of the fuel, I think there could be some ways to better offset some of those costs and have Emery pay for all the fuel or something to that effect, just because we're eating the cost of the maintenance and stuff. And if it's a 50, 30, 20 split, we should find a way to offset some of those costs with Emery County, is my opinion.
Any additional questions?
For the record, let's state who the names of our fire warden and our assistant fire warden are so the public knows.
So when I say Rudy Sandoval is the current fire management officer for the state of Utah. So that's who I mean when I say Rudy. Our county fire warden is Jeremy Jorgensen, who's employed full-time. They don't have a current assistant warden. I think it's open for applications right now. They have not hired anyone. So that's still up in the air.
Maybe explain a little in more detail our obligation to the state of Utah each year, so that when there's a fire in Carbon County on private or state lands, we don't have to shoulder the full cost of that if we participate in this program.
Yeah, so the way it works is we are responsible for all fires that happen on unincorporated parts of the county, or private lands in the unincorporated parts of the county. As we know, we have some very large landowners out there, and those costs for wildfires can get really expensive, multi-million-dollar fires. So what the state does for us is they say, if you give us some money for a fire warden and we participate in this wildfire agreement, they take our high years, so it's a 10-year average, and they take our highest year of costs of what it would cost to suppress fire for Carbon County, and they throw it out, and they take our lowest year of cost and kind of throw it out. And then they average the other 8 years and say, on average, it would cost you $100,000 to suppress wildfire in your county. Right now, that average is at $86,000. And so they say and it used to be that we would just pay that money back to the state. The studies have shown that every dollar in wildfire prevention you spend comes back 3 times in money savings. So the state said, instead of you paying us that money, we want you to take that $86,000 and put it to prevention type activities. Fuels mitigation, you'll hear radio ads all the time. I pay for radio ads all summer long, generally from May through October, to help prevent wildfires. And so all those things come out of this budget. So if we can prevent wildfires and keep those costs low, is kind of the theory in that process. Is that well enough explained?
Yeah, as well as a fuels reduction in some areas where it's been identified there could be a problem. There's efforts to go in, sometimes the road department or whoever.
Yeah, so
remove
50% of those funds are used for fuels reduction specifically, and that can be fuels reduction that we have a crew do. We've had crews come in and clean out next to JBs. We had someone do that. A lot of the times the cost is used to help mow along our right-of-ways of our roads to help reduce those risks of fires catching from people dragging chains or throwing cigarettes, any of those activities. So it helps cover those costs for the county as well.
Okay, sounds like we need to do a little more work before we make a decision.
Well, on this one, it's the same agreement that we've always done in the past. It doesn't add the extra fire warden. We're already on the hook for the truck. I don't see a problem. We could amend the agreement if we want to add a full-time assistant fire warden later. I don't know that I'm okay with approving one tonight. If we need to, we could take more time.
Do we want to talk about the suggestions from Grant here on doing the 50, 30, 20, and maybe a different approach with Emery County, or could that be down the road?
I suppose if we were supposed to do this under the original agreement, did the state provide a truck prior?
So the state's provided a truck for many years, and so they provide the fire truck that Jeremy drives all summer long. But the winter months, they also provide a secondary vehicle that's just a Ford or just a pickup truck for him to run around in. That way you don't run the risk of freezing the fire truck or anything else. And so they do provide 2 vehicles for him, and they're trying to offset the cost of that second vehicle.
Does this agreement specifically say that we'll do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
That we'll provide a truck this year?
Uh,
Where's that at?
it's in section B, item 5.
Oh, winter vehicle. Program support may include.
And it's always been there, but the state's always just had a vehicle.
Okay.
So
So the contract-
this agreement's the same one we've been
Yeah.
operating under for several years.
It looks the same, so, but this year they're saying, we are not gonna give you.
So they are
It's up to
taking,
you to take.
yeah, so they're taking Jeremy's winter vehicle away. I believe it's as soon as he goes to when he drives his fire truck all year long, or for the summer months, they're gonna take that other vehicle away.
But there's nothing in here requiring us to have a deputy county fire warden,
No.
No.
so.
Well, there is a deputy county fire warden, but he's not full-time.
I
It's just
meant
part-time.
assistant.
Yeah.
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 But Jeremy's full-time, right?
Jeremy's full-time.
That's just their suggestion, that we bring him on from part-time, the assistant from part-time to full-time.
And that's not been approved. That was just
But that would be at our expense to do that.
yes.
I suppose if we get to that point and approve an additional amendment to this contract, we could work with Emery County and with them. It would be good if the state worked through some of those details and not us.
And when I talked to Rudy, they hadn't met with Emery County, but they're asking kind of the same thing. So it would be, so that $36,000-ish they're asking for would be 30% of that salary, benefits and everything for that. The state would cover 50, and then they still have to talk to Emery County about the other 20%. So you would have to approve it. Emery would have to approve it. It would be all 3 sides that would agree on that.
One question I have, the 30-20, why is it 30-20 where they have, I get it if it's off of population, but the amount of fire risk is far greater in Emery County. They have a whole lot more public land than we do.
And
Or public and private land.
I don't know exactly where they got the 30-20. Clear back when I was the county fire warden, that's what we did then, but I don't know where that 30-20 came from. If it was population or how many fires they had, I could not tell you where they come from.
Just curious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, if there's no change to this contract, it's one that we've been doing, I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve the county fire warden agreement between the Utah Division of Forestry, Fire, State Lands, and Carbon County.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Item 9 is consideration and possible approval of an interlocal agreement with Carbon Metro Drug Task Force.
I can speak to this unless Christian.
Yeah, you start and I'll fill in anything that.
So
might have
there was a few. So this is the same interlocal that we've been working on with Price City. This is actually Price City's Drug Task Force grant. They work with all the cities, and we're all cooperating agents. The only 2 entities that provide drug task force agents are the county and Price City, but they're all kind of cooperating in it. The 2 changes came in section 2 there, where it talks about the board members and how many board members there'll be. Then if you go down in that same, or in section 3, paragraph or subsection C, it talks about how the board will be made up. And it's based on the entity. Each entity gets a voting board or a voting member, as well as any full-time person on the drug task force. And then the paragraph below that was changed a little bit as well, about voting members. And then the last section, well, there's 2 more sections. Section 7 was changed, and I'm not sure what changed in that one. And then 14E was the last section that was changed from the original agreement, and that just says that if any agency withdraws, they immediately lose their voting power on the board. Was there anything else, Christian? Did you?
No, I think that's a good summary of it, and it's something we've been doing for a while, and this doesn't really change the structure of it, other than agencies participate and contribute manpower as they're able, and assist and work together with each other. And
The more manpower they contribute, the more voice they have on the board.
that's right. Yeah.
Okay. I don't see any problems with it. I spoke with Sheriff Wood. He seemed to agree with all the changes and thought there was nothing that worried him about it. So unless there's questions, I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve the interlocal agreement with the Carbon Metro Drug Task Force.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thanks, everybody.